back. Well, let's bring in now Shadow Indigenous Australians Minister Jacinta Price, who is leading call for reform of native title. Jacinta, great to see you. What needs to change here?
Look, in terms of native title, while it was well intended and it's all very nice to be able to have, access to your land as a traditional owner to fish and hunt, it was very narrow in terms of what else Indigenous Australians could do. So ideas such as economic development, economic independence, the opportunity to generate wealth from one's own land, there was very limited scope to be able to do that to begin with, and I think it's why we have some of our most marginalised Indigenous Australians exist in in remote places like the Northern Territory. So I truly believe we need reform when it comes to native title, and in terms of the Northern Territory, the Land Rights Act is also is requiring reform as well to provide these opportunities that are really needed for many of our most marginalised.
Have you started this conversation yet with Linda Burney, your counterpart in the Albanese government?
Oh, look, I've had these conversations certainly with my counterparts, within the Senate, with Mullindiri McCarthy. I've made it very known publicly that these are issues, of course, that I think require reform. I've always said that traditional owners, they're land rich and dirt poor, and need to be able to be job creators in their own right on country, instead of continually being dependent on welfare and on government to go out and create, supposed jobs out in communities, but effectively landlocked in how we can and cannot use our land.
And do you think the government is open to having this conversation and looking at reforms, working with you to do so?
Look, I welcome the fact that the government has decided to put $500,000 toward reviewing native title itself. I would happily work with the government toward that, and I would also encourage them to take a really good look at the Land Rights Act within the Northern Territory as well. I know that many traditional owners across the country feel it's time that we looked at how native title is or isn't working to its best for the opportunities for traditional owners.
Yeah, an important conversation to have. Jacinta Price, always love having you on the show. Thank you for your time.